Hello, I'm Beth Wagner, physical therapist. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use a rollator correctly. I'll cover the proper fit, including height and weight, and how to walk with a walker. I'll also touch on some common accessories and tips for safe community mobility. Now, while the basic style of a rollator is similar from device to device, there are many different variations. So I'll show you the key features of a rollator using this device. The primary feature that sets rollators apart from other types of walkers are the four wheels. This allows for much greater mobility, much better roll with less friction. The other difference between most rollators and a front-wheeled walker is that the front wheels can pivot for better mobility and better ability to turn in place. The wheels on a front-wheel walker are locked, similar to the back wheels of a rollator. All right, let's look at fit of this walker. This includes both height and weight. Most rollators are height adjustable. The way the height is adjusted varies from model to model. The most common way of adjusting the height is through this top bar. Turning this knob will free up a screw that comes out, and then it's put into these different holes to decrease or increase the height of the walker. Now, before adjusting the height, check to be sure if it is properly adjusted already or if it needs to go up or down. Standing in front of the walker with good posture, let your arms rest on the side of the hand grips. When the walker is adjusted properly, the hand grips will hit the crease of the wrist. So this walker feels just about right for me. It could go down a little bit, but I think one notch lower might be too low for me. Another way to double check the height is to look at the angle of the elbow. With good posture, when the walker is adjusted properly, there should be about a 20-degree bend at the elbow. And that feels just about right. Again, it feels slightly tall. I could lower it one notch and see how that feels, but for the purposes of this demonstration, I think this is an okay fit. Another important component to this size is the weight limit. Standard walkers, both rollators and front-wheel walkers, typically have a max limit of 300 to 350 pounds. Heavy-duty or bariatric versions typically have a max weight limit up to 500 pounds. They're also typically wider, larger, and heavier. But it's important to make sure that you choose the device appropriate for the weight of the individual using it. And the weight rating is typically listed right on the device, somewhere on one of the stickers that come on the device. When borrowing a piece of equipment, be sure to check the weight rating. When purchasing a piece of equipment, the listing will include the max weight rating. The other key feature of the rollator is the brakes. These brakes are necessary since the walker has four wheels. It's very easy for the walker to roll away on its own. Now, the brakes can work in two different ways. The brakes can be pulled up to apply the brake temporarily, and then when the grip is released, the brake comes off. So as I'm walking forward, if I want to apply brakes, I can pull up. And this allows me to apply a varying degree of braking action. And then when I release the brakes are off and it will continue to roll freely. The other way the brakes work is as a parking brake. If I press down on both sides, that locks the brakes in place. This is very important if you want to use the walker as a seat to take a rest break. During the process of sitting and the process of standing up, it's very important that this walker not roll away. Upon standing, when you want to walk again, then the brakes are released here just by pulling up. Now let's look at some of the other features on the walker. Every rollator comes with a seat, but the dimensions of the seat, the amount of cushion, how it flips up and down, all of that can vary from device to device. If you're planning on using the seat a great deal, it's important to look at the dimensions, the thickness, etc. Look at those details before choosing a walker because you want to be sure that it is wide enough to support your body and has enough cushion to be a comfortable place to rest. Also, if you're going to be sitting in the seat for a long period of time, you want to look at the backrest. This tube is a common style backrest, and it's okay for comfort, but doesn't provide a lot of support. There are other backrests that are a wider piece of fabric, more like a typical back brace. That style is much nicer for longer rest periods. Under the seat is a storage area. Now, the style of storage bag varies from device to device. So if you plan on using the storage, also check that feature on the devices that you're considering. All right, now let's look at how the device folds and unfolds, because this is very key for storage as well as putting the device in and out of the vehicle. This particular model folds by releasing this crossbar right in the middle. It just folds kind of into an A-frame here. And then typically the seat folds up against the backrest. This device doesn't have anything to keep it in a folded position. So if I were to lift this up and angle it to get it into a car, it opens back up and the seat falls down. That's a downside to this particular device. So if you're planning on folding and unfolding your rollator for storage or to get in and out of vehicles, be sure to dig into the listing and to the reviews when purchasing an item online. Many people include in their reviews how well the device folds and unfolds. That's a valuable piece of information before purchasing a rollator. This device has 5-inch wheels on the front and the back. That's a very typical dimension for wheels. It's possible to find rollators with larger wheels or even different wheel sizes on the front and the back. All of those options have different benefits and drawbacks. So depending on how you want to use your rollator, you might look at the specific wheel dimensions for the best fit for your needs. Now I'll demonstrate how to walk with a rollator. It's very straightforward because we're just walking as we push the rollator forward. But there are some key things that I want to demonstrate. First of all, posture when standing with a walker, with any walker, is very important. It's very typical to see people leaning forward on their walker, which can create imbalance and a risk of falling, let alone strain in the neck and the wrists and the hands. So it's important to stand with tall posture, chest lifted, shoulders relaxed down and back, hands on the hand grips, with your hands just slightly in front of your hips. And your feet should be between the back wheels. Now, to begin walking, simply push the rollator forward just a little bit, just enough to give room to take a step. So I'll slide it forward just a couple inches and then start walking. And now to take a turn, I can simply turn the walker in place and pivot my feet. Again, I'll start walking by sliding the walker forward a couple of inches and then just walk naturally. Notice my posture is upright and I'm not hitting the seat. Many people comment that they feel they have to walk with the walker forward because they don't want to hit their knees on the seat. Every walker that I've seen is set up so that you can take a normal step with upright posture without hitting that seat. I'll show you that again. Now as I start to walk, I'll slide the walker forward just a couple inches and then take my normal step. And turn at the end. And even as I'm turning, I'm still keeping the walker in the same position with my hands slightly in front of my hips on both sides. So if I want to just take a turn right here, I can just turn in place. The walker stays just in front of me. You can see that I have plenty of room for my knee. Now I might hit the seat if I start to move my legs before the walker. But if you move the walker a couple inches forward first and then step, no problem hitting the seat. Now, a couple tips on safety, both in the home and in the community. Before you start using a walker in your home, be sure to pull up any loose rugs, cords, and anything else that could become caught up in the wheels, causing a tripping hazard. Watch for slippery or wet surfaces, both in your home and in the community. All right, that wraps up this video on how to use a rollator properly and safely. If you like this video, please click the thumbs up and subscribe to my channel down below. I hope this information has been helpful for you to use your rollator safely and properly to help you do the things you love to do every single day. Please leave comments and questions down below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I'm able. Have a fantastic day.